Thank you very much. We are on item 2, attendance and adoption of credentials report.
Mandla. Comrade President, I am inviting the National Congress, the 10th National Congress, to the presentation of our credentials, such that we establish whether we collate for us to be able to proceed with the Congress. I'm inviting the National Congress to take out book 4 of the books that we got from Congress, and I request you, comrades, Congress, to go to page 72 of book 4. Let us proceed, Congress, as follows. May I request the technical team to assist us? Valeria? Book 4, page 72, while we are waiting for the technical team to assist us. Book 4. Thank you. Comrades, let's present the credentials as follows. This is a summary of the credentials. In terms of the national office bearers, number expected at the National Congress is 8 delegates. When we look in terms of the gender spread, it's 4 males, 4 females. Delegates present at this National Congress from the National Office Bearers are 8. Eastern Cape Province Comrades Delegates Congress, with a total membership of 40,453 members, Number of branches are 78. Branches expected are 158. In terms of the breakdown of delegates present here, 8 of them are PWC members. 12 from the regions, chair and the secretary. The number of delegates expected from the Eastern Cape is 173. In terms of gender spread, we have 93 of them being males and 80 being female. The total delegates present here today from the Eastern Cape President is 173. Free State Province, with a total membership of 16,342 members, number of branches from the province 56, branch expected delegates are 81, PWC members are 8, regions expected 12. The expected delegates from the Free State to this National Congress are 101 present. In terms of gender spread, we have 62 of them being males and then 38 of them being females. The total delegates present here from the Free State is 100 present. Gauteng Province, with a total membership of 46,020, 62 branches, branch expected delegates is 161, PWC members expected is 8, regions expected is 10. Expected delegates from Gauteng to this National Congress is 179. In terms of gender breakdown, 99 of them are females and 99 of them are males and 80 of them are females. Total delegates present here is 179 from Gauteng. KwaZulu-Natal President, with a total membership of 63,193 members, 89 branches. Number of branch delegates expected is 227 President. PWC members, it's 8 President, and regions are 14. Total numbers expected from KZN is 249. In terms of gender breakdown, we have 136 of them being males and then 113 of them being females. Total delegates present here from KZN is 249. From Limpopo, President, with a total membership of 45,243, number of branches is 80. Branch delegates expected to this conference is 173. PWC members expected here is 7. Regions expected to this conference is 12. Expected delegates from Limpopo Province President is 192 delegates. In terms of gender breakdown, 114 of them are males and then 78 of them are female. The total delegates present here from Limpopo is 192 President. Mpumalanga Province, with a total membership of 24,794, total number of 55 branches. Branches expected, delegates expected from the branches in Mpumalanga, it's 99 President. Expected PWC members to the Congress are 8. And from the region, we're expecting 10 delegates. The total number of delegates expected is 119. In terms of gender breakdown, 66 of them are males and 52 of them are females. The total delegates present here from Mpumalanga is 118. Northern Cape President, with a total membership of 6,403, 22 branches, 30 delegates expected from the branches, 8 PWC members expected, 10 regional leaders expected. Total delegation expected to the Congress is 48 President. I'm giving them these zeros and so on. It's 48. In terms of gender breakdown, 30 of them are males and then 18 of them are females. Total delegation at this Congress from the Northern Cape are 48. Northwest Province, with a total membership of 18,988, branches being 59, expected delegates from the branches are 88, with 8 PWC members, 12 expected from the regions. The total delegates expected to this National Congress is 108 from the Northwest Province. In terms of gender spread, we have 66 of them being males and 42 of them being female. Total delegates here present today are 108. Lastly, Western Cape present, with a total membership of 14,091 members, 43 branches. Total number of branch delegates expected to this Congress are 62. 8 PWC members expected, and 12 members from the regions are expected. Total number of delegates expected from Western Cape are 82. In terms of the gender breakdown, 42 of them are males and 31 of them are females. Total delegates present here from Western Cape are 81 delegates. The Union Comrades records or register or reports that we are coming to this National Congress with 275,527 members, branches being 544. The total delegates expected from the branches is 1,074. The total branch delegates expected from PWC members are 71. Delegates expected from the regions are 106. We're expecting 1,259 delegates to come to this Congress. In terms of the gender breakdown, it would be 708 being males and 544 of them being females. The total delegates present here, comrades, are 1,256. I invite the Congress to go to Book 4, Book 1 for some of you, comrades, and we go to governance motions. And we present to the National Congress the first governance motions as follows, being a motion on credentials. Just quickly, comrades, noting that SADTU's constitution requires that the relevant executive committee in this regard, the National Executive Committee, compiles the credential list for presentation to the National Congress. Further noted that in compiling this credential list, all provincial offices were thoroughly consulted based on the membership statistics as of 30th of June 2024. Further noting that the following clause was complied with, clause 3.1.2 of the Constitution. The total expected delegation as per the Constitution is 1,259. Present delegation is 1,256. We therefore resolve, comrades, or recommend the following motion for consideration by the Congress, that the National Congress adopts the credential list presented as it constitutes a quorum as provided by the Constitution. So we move, President. Thank you. Just one correction, comrades. Expected is 1258. We have just had one from Free State not being part of the delegates here, which means it will be 1258, and then present we have 1256. Thank you.
Thank you, DJs. With the explanation made or with the amendment made, the Secretariat moves that we accept the credentials. The right to speak, it's green. Clarity, it's yellow. Call for order is red. I don't know what red is that because my eyes are telling me it's something like red or orange. So it will be orange instead of red. Let me hear the Congress. The Secretariat moves that we accept these credentials. I see Free State, What province is after Free State there? Limpopo, KZN, in that order. In case you still want to speak, comrades, I'll give you the opportunity. Free State. You need to speak to the mic. There are comrades at the back there who are already complaining that they can't hear what you are saying. I see by their gestures at the back there.
Thank you very much, Comrade President. President, with the corrections and amendments that have been made, as Free State, we want to second the acceptance of these credentials. Thank you very much, President.
Thank you. Free State, Limpopo. Somebody must assist us with this roving mic. If you, the mic please, right at the back as well.
Yeah, thank you, Comrade President and the Leadership Collective. Chibani Sowell, the Provincial Secretary of SADTU Limpopo Province. We want to indicate that we are enveloped by what Free State has already indicated.
Thank you. Covered. Covered. In simple terms, he's saying that we are covered. And he doesn't want to elongate it. He says we are covered in the envelope. Therefore, we are enveloped. There is a request to speak right at the back there. What province is that? Eastern Cape? Is that Eastern Cape or Gauteng? Western Cape? Okay. Comrades, 2 provinces have already accepted the adoption of the credentials. After Western Cape, I'm going to check if there is any dissenting view, so that in the interest of time, we move on.
Thank you, President. Sibongile Kwazi, Western Cape. We just want to make a slight correction regarding the gender split for the Western Cape, where it was indicated that it is 31-43, while it is 39-43. We just wanted to make that correction before the credentials are officially adopted. Thank you.
Noted, teachers. Duly noted. Any dissenting view on credentials? There is none. The motion is carried. I didn't hear you clapping hands. Credentials are very, very important. They can make or break a conference. In certain instances, we find credentials being such a nightmare that it takes 2 days to adopt the credentials. Now that you did this within 20 minutes, you can clap hands for yourselves. Next on the agenda It's apologies.
Thank you, President. We did not receive any apologies up to now, but if there are any, maybe provinces will submit them, and I think the Congress will attend to them as we are proceeding. Thank you.
No apologies recorded. Should there be some, we can deal with them as we proceed. Let me hear the Congress by way of raising hands. On apologies, we don't have any apology. So should there be one or should there be some, we'll be able to deal with them as we proceed with the agenda. Can I hear the Congress, if they are happy with that? Congress? No, you raise your hand. Limpopo? KZN? Just as you are about to be enveloped.
Thanks, President. Provincial Deputy Secretary Limpopo. We were rising to support the submission by the DGS to say yes, and when they're there, we can most probably deal with them. But what we are submitting from our side clearly we are saying the item is passing, and let it pass as is, and close it there.
We requested you to come and say what your view is on the apologies, except the latter part.
Yeah,
if you accept, no, I'm not requesting you to come back. Take your seat. Comrades, all we wanted to know is to check and be on record that you are accepting that we don't have an apology now, and then we move on, okay? We don't have any apologies, and I know by acclamation you said, no, let's proceed. But I wanted this to be on record. Thank you, Limpopo. Next, adoption of the program or agenda.
Amandla. Awethu. Long live SADTU, long live. Shapa SADTU, shapa. Thank you very much, Comrade President, and good morning to everyone. In terms of the constitution of SADTU, it spells out the agenda of the Congress. And I want to take comrades to the Book 1, if there is an agenda that is there. If not, I will help you. It's on page 7 of Book 1. Book 1 is the one that is so thick, like the assignments you write. So the agenda on page 7 has been tabled by the National Executive Committee as required, and it is stated in the Constitution that these are the things that the Congress can really deliberate on and resolve, which is opening, attendance, which has been done by the Deputy General Secretary, and then we deal with the convening notice, and then we adopt the rules, and then the election officers will come and present the election procedures, and then we adopt the minutes of the 2019 Congress, and then we adopt the standing committees of the Congress, because the Congress is a very huge and quite demanding exercise. So we need a number of committees that deals with that, and then we receive the NGC resolution, and then we deal with the Secretariat report, which include the finance report, and then later during the week we deal with resolutions and constitutional amendments, and then we will deal with the dissolution and the inauguration of the new leadership, and then we close. So, Congress, I want to move for the adoption of the proposed agenda. President.
The Secretariat moves that we accept the agenda as presented. Let me hear you, Congress. KZN.
Thank you, Comrade President. KwaZulu-Natal Rising seconding the agenda as presented with the chairs. Thank you.
Thank you, KZN. Any dissenting view? There is none. The agenda is carried. Yes. Proceed.
Thank you, President. On page 8 to 9, proceeding to 11, we are then presenting a program that will assist us to navigate through this agenda that we have just adopted. The program is just a guiding document that the President presiding over this meeting will then be following through. I request the technical people, if they have it, they can project it, but it is there on book 1, which basically it deals with all the other things that are there. We have got messages of support that are there, and the keynote address. As it is now, Comrade President, as we adopt here, the Deputy President of the African National Congress and the Deputy President of the country has been here since 2210. So we wish to move to Congress that the guiding program that helps us to execute our agenda be adopted by the Congress. So we move, President.
With the explanation given, the Secretariat moves that this is a guiding document and we must be flexible. Let me hear Congress. Northern Cape.
Good morning, comrades. The Northern Cape Seconds.
Who is Northern Cape? My name is Marope Mapila, the President of SADTU.
Thanks, President. Senzo Parala, the Provincial Chairperson of the Northern Cape, is rise to second. Thanks.
Thank you, Comrade Senzo, and happy belated birthday. It's agreed to, Jess. Can we check if there is any dissenting view? None. Proceed to the next item, Jess.
Comrade President and Congress, the next item, according to this program that we are now using, it is to table the notice convening this particular National Congress. You'll find the notice on page 4, comrades, where we have convened this Congress in terms of our Constitution, and which state very clear in terms of 13.1.1 and 13.1.2 and 13.1.5, which basically states exactly how the notice of this particular Congress should reach all the structures. We did so by making sure that all the branches of SADTU, I'm told there are 554 or 544, all of them received the notice through the emails that they have sent to us, which they will have to confirm at a later stage if they are. The Congress basically is very important that I indicate. One, it is the supreme governing body of our union, which meets at least every 5 years. What is critical in terms of what the Deputy General Secretary has already tabled is 13.1.2, which determines how many delegates we have in this Congress based on 350 delegate members in each and every branch. Therefore, you would qualify for one delegate. However, the Constitution is very clear that even if you do not have 350 members in your branch, you will still qualify for one delegate. So at least you have to qualify for one delegate, irrespective of whether you have 306. And that is spelled out in the Constitution, especially when we deal with a clause 8, which is a very critical clause in terms of the founding of our Constitution, of our organization, which deals with fundamental things like democracy and participation by our members. So these delegates are directly elected by the branches themselves in a site steward council. Some are elected by the mass meeting, which we call branch mass meeting, where they elect any member of the organization, irrespective of your position. So therefore, so that you then are able to fulfill clause 8, which says that we practice democracy and members must have a direct participation in the Congress through an indirect representation that they elect. So members give a mandate to that. So it's fundamental that we live up to that particular clause, and therefore I move that this particular notice be noted, Comrade President, without me wasting your time. Thank you, President.
Thank you, GS. Congress, the Secretariat moves that we note the notice with all explanations given that this Congress is convened by the National Executive Committee. Congress, right at the back there, please say what province it is. Eastern Cape. Did you say Eastern Cape or Western Cape? Please move to the mic, comrade, if you want to know the notice.
Thank you, Comrade President. As Eastern Cape, we are accepting the notice that we have received it. Thank you.
My name is Marupe Mapila.
Oh, my name is Luvom Vulana, the Deputy Chairperson of the Eastern Cape.
Thank you, Eastern Cape. Any dissenting view on the noting of the notice? None. Can you move, Jess?
Thank you, Comrade. Thank you, Congress. In terms of the agenda, we shall now move the rules and procedures for us to be able to have a smooth running Congress. The President has indicated that in certain quotas, credentials take 3 days or 5 days. In certain quotas, without rules, you have anarchy. You know, the Constitution establishes order. Without the Constitution, you have disorder. So, these rules have been running our congresses, our NGCs. Some of you may also have used these rules when you run your conferences and your PGCs. So on page 13 of Book 1, we are presenting these particular rules, and Comrade President, please pardon me because I would have read, but comrades are teachers, support personnel, they are researchers, they are educationists. We really plead with them that they should read and live up to these procedures rather than for me going through each one of them, President. It will then be a problem. However, let me emphasize that in order to speak, that because we don't have a system where you can log in for you to speak, AI is going to assist us in future, but now we don't have. That does not mean I can't use AI. I can use it. So the point of order, it's going to be read. Okay? That's a point of order. But there's no point of exigency. There's no point of privilege. There's no point of prestige. It is a point of order on the item on the table. So you'll raise red. The president or the person presiding over the meeting would then make a determination on whether to uphold the order or not. So it can't be subjected to a debate. Now, procedurally, it is that the president can ask the meeting on whether you accept or is there any seconder to an order. An order, it is a discretion of the presiding officer to say you either uphold or you don't uphold the order based on the procedures. And the permission to speak will be green. The provinces have those cards that they will raise, and any clarity-seeking question will then be a yellow or amber that will be done. The Congress is run through motions, and those motions are sent by the structures to us, and after having been sent, we send them back to the structures. And that's what we did, because what Free State has raised must be known by the Northern Cape. What the Eastern Cape has raised must be known by Mpumalanga, so that they can engage with their delegates to say, there's a motion here that talks about retirement. You see, I'm smiling because you talk retirement. Outside there, I was taught that there are 3 ports. So they were singing port number 1, port number 2. Port number 3, they were all not happy about it. They were saying it's SARS. So the motions run the Congress. Without a motion, you can't stand on the floor and move a motion. I think I'm clear, comrades. That's the emphasis. You cannot move a motion on the floor of a Congress. You've got to have the motion submitted to the General Secretary, who will submit that to the National Working Committee and determine on whether that motion will be presented to the Congress, if it's a special motion or it's an emergency motion, and so forth. So all motions have been sent to the structures. That's how we run those motions for us. You have responsibilities on 6. Comrades, we are professionals, and some of us call themselves revolutionaries. I think I was a revolutionary before the age of 48, until I started thinking about kids, that they must pay school fees. Then you start thinking about yourself. So we will not allow howling. Every opinion is important. Every view is important. We will listen to you. Even if you are not, we don't agree with you, we listen to you. We are all under the leadership of a presiding officer. There will be no hissing. There will be no shouting. There will be no heckling. There will be no jeering. There will be no climbing chairs and tables, and any other similar interruption that is not associated with our own constitution and our own code of conduct as professionals. So I will emphasize that. There will be no document in this Congress that will be circulated to the Congress without the prior approval of the steering committee, which is the National Working Committee, and accept motions that have been circulated to the structures by the General Secretary. So no delegate shall not circulate any motion from the floor unless presented to the General Secretary, and the General Secretary will present that. We're doing this because most of the time we may have people who are not part of this conference coming in and start circulating papers that can confuse and cause some discomfort to the delegates. So we want to protect them. So, Comrade President, because these procedures are part of what is outlined under the guidelines of the Constitution, I move for the adoption of this particular credential. Not credential, the procedures.
Thank you, Jess. Rules and procedures have been outlined as to how we are going to run this Congress. in line with the Constitution of SADTU as adopted in 2019. Let me hear the Congress. Let me hear the Congress if they are happy about there is clarity first. Right at the back. The province that side. Come again. Thank you. Clarity.
Thank you very much, President. Good morning, Congress. Kyanzi Ayanda, Poligabada region of the Eastern Cape. President, I want the Congress to school me on whether it is necessary that we adopt these rules on two reasons. These rules do appear in the Constitution. Don't we take them as part of the Constitution, therefore? Because what is in the Constitution, therefore? It's not something that needs you to adopt it, because it's not whether you like or you don't like it. But secondly, in the motion 299.4 in page 73, to which the GS is referring us, there's an indication that these rules were adopted by the Congress in 2019. And I'm coming to you, President, so that Congress may school me on whether it is necessary that we adopt them. If so, why? What should we make of them appearing in the Constitution, and what should we make of them having been adopted in the Congress in 2019? Thank you very much, President.
Thank you, Eastern Cape. Yes.
Thank you very much, President. In terms of the agenda that we have adopted, it spells out that we have to adopt them. Even if we have adopted it in 2019, 2014, 2010, 2006, 2002, 1998, 1995, 1991. So it's important because this sitting has other procedures that may have been added, but at the same time, not every procedure here. That's why I say we read with the constitutional guidelines that are there. And therefore, so that you have to have these procedures, and you cannot read them without looking at the other the guidelines, so that you have a full understanding of the rules of running the Congress. So we appreciate the question, but this Congress, in terms of the agenda adopted, it has to adopt them so that they are able to guide this particular Congress. They will remain our rules, but each and every Congress has to express itself to these particular rules, Comrade President. It's very important.
Thank you, GS. The question for clarity was, is it necessary for us to adopt the rules as they are covered in the Constitution? The answer is yes. Are you covered, Eastern Cape? Eastern Cape, are you covered? Oh, they're covered. Are we going to adopt the rules? Right at the back, is it Western Cape? Come again, Northwest. Please come, move to the mic.
Thank you very much, President. Nkuseli Mafunda from the Northwest. As the Northwest, we do second that we adopt the rules as indicated by the GS. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Northwest. Interestingly, you rose your hand first to want to speak. And when you are at the mic, you forget, by the way, what is this? Thank you. Yes, the rules are accepted. Is there any Opposing view? None. They are carried.
Yes. Thank you, President. We, in the interest of our Speaker Keynote address, Comrade President, allow me to be out of order and request the Congress that we suspend the session as is now, and so that we go into an open session where you, President, with your discretion, and I humble myself to you, that you decide on allowing the Deputy President of the country, who has time pressures, SACP, long live. Long live for SADTU, long live. Long live our progressive PYA, long live. Long live the Veterans Leagues, long live. Amandla. Amandla. Thank you, Congress. Thank you, Comrade President. I will not be long. And I always call to order by the Deputy General Secretary of SADTU and says you must never always say you won't be long because you'll be long. So there's a disclaimer all the time. So, but I will try my best and apologize to the Deputy President of the African National Congress and the Deputy President of the country as well for keeping him waiting because he arrived on time. We started late, so we apologize, Deputy President. The Deputy President is both the Deputy President of the African National Congress and the Republic of South Africa, but he also served as the Premier of this province, which is hosting, I think Lidimu is here, so that is hosting this Congress in 2024. The Deputy President has also served as the Minister of Arts and Culture. Deputy President, in SADTU, we view that for us to progress as a nation and as education, we've got to ensure that our culture is restored. Our culture is promoted and we invest in our culture. Because there's no quality education without culture. There's no quality education without the context under which we work. The country is gripped with internalized oppression, self-hate, and destruction of property because of anger sometimes, and therefore we believe that culture should be able to help us. And you led that particular portfolio in order to ensure that indeed we are able to respect all cultures in South Africa. So I'm not going to be long because the Deputy President has served in the ANC, all structures of the African National Congress. Has grown through the structures and nurtured by those structures and developed and empowered by those particular structures of the movement. And therefore, as part of the tripartite alliance, as a leader, we do not want to present a long profile today. We know you have led us. But this is SADTU, Comrade Deputy President. It's 886,000 members in the country. We are the biggest public sector unions in South Africa. We are also a member of the Education International Top 10 in the world, the SADTU, in terms of the membership. So we are proud and pleased to have you here today. And President, it's not because we want to gloat, but we believe that these general elections that have passed, we think that SADTU was there. SADTU understood very well from the onset that if we are not on the ground, if we are not there, the imperialist forces were all out in force, huge finances, narrative in the media, deficit narratives that was there, and we were faced with that particular momentous task to respond and be there, and we stepped up, and we were there, and we prevailed as an organization. We remember very well, President, that in the manifesto of the DA, there was a chapter that was dedicated for SADTU to be dealt with, for SADTU to be dislodged, because SADTU is in the communities, because SADTU talks to the parents, SADTU talks to the churches, SADTU talks to the students, SADTU talks to everybody, and they knew the power that we have as teachers. So, if you can give us a nice increase. So we shall continue to do our work. And we shall educate, like the Freedom Charter said, teach them well, so that they can love their country and they can love their people. Deputy President, amongst us are international guests. We have not acknowledged them because we're running behind schedule, but very critical is that we have our comrades from Jamaica. We will introduce them well. Deputy President, you know the role that they played, paying for our comrades in exile, making sure that there's disinvestment, there's the sanctions against South Africa. They are a small country with big heart. When we greet them, we say one love, one heart. No need to worry. Yeah, man. Era. We have our Deputy Ambassador of Palestine. We will introduce them, but we also have the Deputy President of the GPT, which is our union in Palestine, together with the General Secretary, who are amongst us here today. President, we will acknowledge them, but we wanted you to be aware before you speak that we have these guests, and we have one of our stalwart, our veterans in trade union movement from the American Federation of Teachers, Laura, who is here. We also have Miriam, who is also coming from the family of activists, the family of communists. I don't know if she's communist, I don't know, but the brother, I know that anytime I meet the brother in Belgium or anywhere else, he always say, we have to decolonize our education system. It's a difficult task. And our founding treasurer president is here, Samuel Harold Samuel. He was just celebrating the 91 years, I think a week ago, but if he can stand so that you see how young he is. My Deputy President, let me allow you, our leader, so that I don't go long and long, to address us. We are ready for you, and we want to thank you for accepting our apology. Thank you very much. Ikwichi.
Mandla Matla Matla Viva SADTU, viva! Viva SADTU, viva! Phambili ngemfundo phambili. Phambili ngemfundo phambili. Qina msebenzi qina. Qina msebenzi qina. Qina COSATU qina. Qina COSATU qina. Comrades, let me start by acknowledging the leadership of SADTU, Comrade President Mahope Mapila, Deputy President Mabuto Kele, Comrade General Secretary Mugwena Maluleka, Deputy General Secretary Comrade Nkosana Dolopi, Comrade National Treasurer Comrade Lindy Mutswani, Vice President responsible for education Comrade Faseha Solomon, Vice President responsible for gender Comrade Dudunkosi, Vice President responsible for sports, arts and culture Comrade Nolita Mboniswa. I want also to take this opportunity to welcome the leadership of COSATU, Comrade President of COSATU is here with us. I don't know where she is sitting. Oh, she's sitting out there. Comrade GS of the party, also here with us. Comrade leadership of SANCO, I didn't see them. Let me also acknowledge members of the diplomatic corps who are here present and our international guests who have already been acknowledged, and some of them will be acknowledged fully later on. Let me also greet other distinguished guests who are present in this Congress, but more importantly, you, the delegates. Phambili ngama delegates, phambili. Phambili ngama delegates, phambili. Those of us who had an opportunity to go to conferences and be nominated and elected know how important the delegates are. So the leadership must make sure as they go around during tea break, banubulis, or else. Compatriots, good morning once again. Today I'm humbled to address the 10th National Congress of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, an affiliate of COSATU, our most dependable ally as the African National Congress. I bring to you revolutionary greetings from the leadership of the African National Congress, which reaffirms its commitment to the working class, but also to the progressive formations of the left within the mass democratic movement. We acknowledge the commitment to the principles of the National Democratic Revolution that SADTU continues to display, and we recognize your role in the transformation of the education sector and our society as a whole. Comrade President and General Secretary, the leadership of SADTU, in my previous life I was once head of political education for the ANC when this area was called PWV region. and I developed tendencies at the time to read and reread documents again and again. So I had the opportunity to reread the theme of this conference, to deeply appreciate what this Congress seeks to address and achieve. I might be wrong, but I have come to an understanding that there are critical issues that concern you as a union, representing teachers and educators in our country. These issues are related to adequate investment in skills that will not only produce globally competitive individuals, but patriotic citizens who will contribute to the growth and development of our country. In this regard, we agree with you. Hence, together over the past 30 years, we have been investing in policies and programs that are aimed at supporting our teaching fraternity, the children and their families. In your capable hands, we have always trusted that you will usher us to global platforms where our youth can display excellence because of your contribution to the skills and capacity of their development. As they go out there to face the world. We thank you, teachers, for that. The Human Resource Development Council of South Africa, which includes both the Department of Basic and Higher Education and Training, amongst others, is a strategic platform where government addresses some of the human resource and skills concerns in our country that the labor movement in general is also concerned about, and I'm happy that some of the representatives of the Human Resource Development Council are present here today with us. I have served in that council, which I chair with Comrade Njali and many other comrades from the labor movement, and also civil society and business. It's very important that we have to prepare our nation for the digital economy. So we must provide our children with relevant skills that will make them to be competitive out there. But also the Human Resource Development Council also deals not only with young people, but also to ensure that adults as well do receive continuous training. You know, when you learn or you get educated or get skills, it's not something that ends. We were talking with some comrades this weekend and we were saying to them, you know, in China, every leader in China of the Communist Party must every year visit and spend time at the party school. Every year. So I know when I saw Habulile, Winkokeli, no, every year you go for refresher courses. And we must make it the same here at home. Babangata, the leaders who run around and they claim they know everything. Mageba figure school way to the party school. Because when we do that, we will be able to be alert, we'll be able to know where we are taking this revolution to. I know that the ANC has sent a lot of leaders to China, but we also have our own party school. Masisebenzi said, "Seteng skolo sele ene lelona basatu liba kosatu, you are welcome at that school. Ozan siofunda sonke." Compatriots, this conference takes place a day after the National Commemoration of Heritage Day, an important day in our country that celebrates our diverse history and heritage and garners us towards unity in diversity as inscribed in our National Code of Arms. This year's celebration, held in Fixburg in the Free State, was dedicated to remembering the heroes and heroines who laid down their lives for our freedom. This celebration forms part of continued efforts by our comrades in government who have led and supported the repatriation process or the homecoming of the remains of many of our fallen comrades, starting with those from Zimbabwe and Zambia who are arriving today. As we speak, some of those remains will be arriving at Waterkloof today. Amongst them, Advocate Dumanokwe, known to many of us as the youngest Secretary General of the African National Congress, Florence Muposho and Basil February, but they are coming with 49 other people, or let me say 49 other remains of our heroes. This is just the beginning of bringing these heroes back home who fell on different grounds of other countries during the liberation struggle. I'm told that there could be as many as 1,000 comrades who fell during the liberation struggle. And all of them will have, their remains will have to come and be buried back at home. That's the project we are busy with. Comrade delegates, it is noteworthy that some of the celebrated fallen soldiers went into exile in the aftermath of the 1976 student uprising, a period which epitomized a moment of discontent towards apartheid in general, but the segregationist education laws that sought to disenfranchise black children in particular. The call to transform education is therefore one that is deeply rooted in the agenda of non-racism, non-sexism, and towards a more egalitarian society. Education has always been at the center of the development and advancement of the vision of the kind of society we want. You can go back to the African claims, the Freedom Charter, Ready to Govern, or even the RDP, but also lately now our Constitution adopted in 1996. All these documents allude to the importance of education. Fellow delegates, in honoring the journey that SADTU has traversed, we must take a moment to reflect on the process towards your establishment, in particular your success in producing many highly seasoned leaders who have played a critical role in the ANC and the mass democratic movement broadly, and continue to do so to date. We must acknowledge that many of the leaders today come from the hands of teachers like yourselves. Unless if you are a leader of Saya Skolong, then we can't say that, you see. But all the leaders come from the hands of teachers. And we know some of them were very naughty at school. I won't say who. but the teachers had to get us right. And until today, we are better leaders. Compatriots, the formation of the Teachers' Union was an integral part of transforming the sector, but also in uniting the working class under a banner of progressive politics that sought to improve the status of black workers in particular, but the working class in general. Indeed, the sector has undergone 30 years of concerted efforts to transform the education system. This premise on the South African Schools Act of 1996, which promotes compulsory access to quality education for all and enhances democratic governance in the schooling system. Guided by the Freedom Charter, which advances the following: the doors of learning and culture shall be open to all. Close quote. And guided by this, President Ramaphosa has recently signed into law the Bela Bill, or shall I say the famous Bela Bill, which is aimed at consolidating gains in education, specifically as it relates to early childhood development, non-discriminatory access, diversity and inclusion, and improving school governance mechanisms. Now, there have been a lot of debates in the media about this bill and the fact that there are others who want it to be changed. And we agreed with the president. We said, the president, go ahead, sign the bill. Those who are still having issues, because we don't want a situation where people say, President, take the bill back to Parliament. Then it takes another year in Parliament. So, bazawusithola phambili. Haiduma yatsamaya. Fellow delegates, our celebration of 30 years of democracy is therefore a celebration of activist teachers and patriotic citizens who have shown commitment to both sound pedagogy and the building of a developmental state as conceptualized and envisaged through many of our policies. Comrades, in 2024, national general elections, we did not do well. And this resulted in us as the ANC and the alliance broadly suffering what we refer to as a strategic setback. And this strategic setback resulted in us not being able to establish a government on our own and ending up in what we now know as the Government of National Unity. We agree that the GNU is not our ideal choice, but our approach as the ANC together with the Alliance was to find a way to ensure that we are not derailed from our main goal of transforming our society, including our education sector for the better. As a result, we have to be strategic and ensure that the setback we suffered should not dislodge us from the levers of state power necessary for driving transformation, including the working conditions and better remuneration for our teachers. I heard, comrades, when I came in here, you were singing a song, Tina Sitwele Ganzima. Rialutu. You know, teachers are doing a good job in our country. They work very hard. And it must be up to us as the leadership to make sure that we deal with their conditions of employment. The conditions of employment of teachers, and dare I say, including better remuneration for teachers. You know, this view that Mau teacher is like, you know, it's another career. No, it's a very important one. Very important. We want more for our children to take this route of becoming teachers. But if the conditions are bad, the remuneration is bad, then our children will not look forward to become teachers. And teachers are the backbone of our society. Let us take care of them. Having said that, comrades, we recognize that the GNU has now reached almost 100 days in office, and we have been trying very hard to make sure that we are focused. There are many out there who are saying, in last year. But we from the ANC are making sure that we are focused on that minimum program of ensuring that there's an inclusive growth of our economy, fighting poverty, reducing inequality, and addressing the cost of living, as well as building an ethical, developmental, and capable state. But prices of food, goods, going up every day. That must be the preoccupation of the government, to make sure that we work with the private sector and everybody else to address these issues, build an economy that grows and create jobs. There's no point in building an economy that grows, but there are no jobs. We have to address this challenge, and that's what we are preoccupied with. And I want to assure you, comrade delegates, that no progressive policies of our movement will be changed. No progressive policies of our movement will be changed. Let's start we have to make sure that we continue with the building of the National Democratic Society. That must continue, and this NDR remains on course. Siyaqhuba, siyaphambili. Fellow compatriots, allow me to make some reflections on the future of South Africa and what we believe it should look like as we forge ahead in the next or another 30 years. We do want to ensure that another 30 years remains a robust, democratic, and healthy society. This reflection is by way informed by the analysis made by Marx and Engels in the preamble of the Communist Manifesto, when they said the following: the history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggle. Close quote. We are therefore compelled to be robust in how we think about economic and power relations, at least to the effect that these anchor our shared vision of a national democratic society and the importance to prioritize the building of an inclusive and sustainable economy, as currently captured in the theme of your Congress. We have to, at the top of our minds, be informed by this reality, that the history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggle. And the leadership of our movement has to be guided by this in whatever they do to deal with the challenges we face. We are not oblivious to the fact that the state of the labor market over the past few years essentially highlight the impact of the segregated apartheid policy or apartheid economic policy, which largely excluded black people and excluded many of our people based on race, gender, and geographic locations, amongst other things. I'm sure you have gone through a lot of this in the past. During the apartheid years, our people were bundled into homelands and areas that are not productive for their development. We therefore makes it our mandate to transform this economy. No matter how complex it may be, it must be our duty to transform it. If we look at employment figures released by Stats SA, it highlights that unemployment has increased to 33.5% in the period between April to June. It has increased. So we must be worried about this aspect as a leadership of government to deal with this. It has increased, rising for the third consecutive quarter and reaching its highest rate in 2 years. A grim reality of the lives of many South Africans, which we must address. On the other hand, the number of employed people has decreased to 16.7 million in the second quarter, while that of jobless people has increased to 8.4 million, another increase of about 158 people. So these are the issues that must keep us to have sleepless nights. These are the issues that we must be worried about every day. These statistics requires that we ask ourselves difficult questions and find solutions to how we can turn our economy around, reversing unemployment and building inclusive growth. Program directors, as a government, we remain determined to tackle unemployment. Comrade delegates, you'll recall that the President introduced Presidential Youth Employment Intervention, the PYEI, also established the South African Youth MOBI as a zero-rated platform for unemployed young people to access opportunities for learning and earning, so that they learn, but they learn skills that allow them to be able to be productive, some of them running their own businesses, small businesses, and employing many other young people. As we speak, over 4.3 million young people are now engaged on the network, and 1.6 million have so far secured these opportunities. But we need to do more, because there are many, particularly young people out there, who are still facing the scourge of unemployment. Comrade delegates, I want to also assure you that the Government of National Unity's commitment to protecting and extending labor rights to all workers remains resolute. I know that at the beginning of the GNU, there was a lot of concern that some of the partners with us in the GNU ababafuna abasebenzi. we are aware of that. And there was a worry that some of them might try to use the GNU to reverse the gains that the workers have achieved over time. I want to say on behalf of the ANC, over our dead body. Hasote yenzagale, angeke soze yenzagale. We will defend the gains of the workers of this country to the end. We have to do that, and we will be watching them with a hawk's eye. Mabazama ukuzama proposal as snacks. Sizobavimba. Realerata basebethi. And I'm happy when Comrade General Secretary was whispering to me as we're sitting there. He says, Comrade DP, I think you won the way you did in this election because SADTU was there. I want us if SADTU neisiyo, ngebe kumoshake. Comrade delegates, let me assure you that the GNU's commitment to protecting and extending labor rights, as I said, will remain resolute. Our goal is to encourage, amongst others, fix in capital investments, ensure industrialization, job creation, and the transformation of our people's life. We must, at all times, strive to promote the goals of economic growth, participation in economic decision-making, and social equity. We should remain intentional in investing in people through education and skills development. As partners at the government level, we must work together to ensure that ours is a stable, efficient, and effective democracy that brings all people together. The government is prioritizing social compacting as an avenue to address some of the persistent challenges that we face in our country. As the Alliance, we must advocate for a comprehensive social compact through social dialogue as a political practice rooted in the tradition of the mass democratic movement and has to be invaluable, especially during periods of transition. The government is therefore committed to public participation and social partner engagement to find solutions to the overarching challenges of this economy, overarching challenges of unemployment, ensuring inclusion, addressing service delivery, social protection, and sustained campaigns against corruption, sexism, racism, and homophobia. We envisage that through the national dialogue or the national dialogue process, we are afforded an opportunity to do mainly two things. The first one is to build a social contract between government and the people in the wake of the election campaign and the outcome thereof, as we said earlier, that we did not do well. By listening and engaging with the citizens through this process, we hope to engender trust and hope for the future and win the support for the National Development Plan and its implementation by this 7th administration through our medium development plan. Secondly, we see the national dialogue process as an opportunity to secure commitments from all stakeholders who can carry a mandate to collaborate with the government to achieve common goals. Your role as teachers, as a union in this regard is very imperative in mobilizing the motive forces and professionals in particular towards this program. Among other things, through the national dialogue, we aim to initiate fresh conversations that tackle relevant unresolved issues that affect most South Africans, particularly the working class and the marginalized in our society. We believe, comrades, that developing a solid strategy for economic transformation should be at the center of this dialogue to address the stubborn challenges of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. The date for the national dialogue has not yet been set, but as we know, the President has called for this dialogue, and we are currently busy preparing for it. We don't want it to be a talk shop. It must come with clear, implementable plans. And the ANC, as a leader of the National Democratic Revolution, must remain at the driving seat of this program. In conclusion, comrades, as the African National Congress and the Alliance, we should at no point abandon our commitment to the ideals of non-racialism, non-sexism, democracy, and egalitarianism. We are still guided by the Freedom Charter in whatever we do. We are still guided by the attainment of the National Democratic Society. And we will never be deterred. Ngamanye amagama asijiki. We shall never be deterred. We wish SADTU well as it continues with its Congress and look forward to the declaration of this Congress. I would have liked to participate and listen to more discussions, especially in commissions, but the President has given me a task that is taking me out of the country, so I have to travel. But I do wish you well. Ha re sebetseng mmogo. Re tlo le support rona, re tlo bereka le lona. SADTU angeke sinlahle. Ningasilahle na. Thank you very much, comrades. Akhensa inkomo. Mandla. Matla. Qina SADTU qina. Qina SADTU qina. Hai hule SADTU hai hule. Hai hule SADTU hai hule. All power. Akhensa inkomo.
Thank you. Thank you, KZN. Let me request the Eastern Cape to give us a revolutionary song as we welcome the address by the Deputy President of both the ANC and the country. Thank you. Thank you, Eastern Cape. Free State, you must bring Suwelewele. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just for some few minutes as we deal with the next item on the agenda, which is outlining of election procedures and processes, we'll request the media to recuse us. Once that is done, then you can come back. It's open wire. So, media, please, as the media is recusing themselves, can we request Western Cape to give us a hot revolutionary song? And we invite Asa to come forth. Western Cape. Let's join, comrades.
working together in unity, and I've assured them that as a government of national unity, we will do everything in our power to support the teachers union. We will make sure that we improve the conditions of working of teachers, look at issues of remuneration so that our teachers work in environments that are conducive, because they are a pillar in our society for the development of our children. So we do support SADTU, and we are happy that their Congress has started very well, very organized, as you can see, and we wish them well. I'm sure they'll have a successful conference. Yeah.
Talking of...
Yeah.
You mentioned that inside, just your key reflections on the 100 days of the GNU. What do you say to pilots just those that say, okay, yes, we've reached 100 days, how do you even get to 5 years? What do you have to say to the naysayers?
Well, you know, a GNU is like a marriage. You know a marriage. There are always challenges in a marriage, right? Sometimes partners to the marriage will argue about this or that, but the important thing is to make things work. So we are not saying the GNU will always see things the same, but there is a minimum program that we've agreed on. One is economic growth that is inclusive, that creates jobs, and also deal with the cost of living that our people are facing, but also ensure that there is a capable, ethical, developmental state. We've agreed on those things. And to the extent that we have agreed, it's easy then to work together for the next 5 years or for this 5 years. I don't see any challenge. If there are issues, we will deal with them. So far, we've started very well. All our meetings are successful. The Khotla, cabinet, everything, all the ministers are working very hard, and they are all accountable to the president. So the GNU is working. It is well, and it's going to succeed.
Okay, Deputy President, you're talking about supporting the teachers.
The teachers, yeah.
The Minister of Basic Education was briefing the media earlier on, talking about the financial constraints. What do you think should be done in assisting the department, and also filling the vacant post of employing the unemployed teachers currently?
Well, I'm hoping that the minister herself will work very closely with the teachers. She should be here, actually, to look at the challenges the teachers are facing and help them, support them. As I said earlier, the teachers are a pillar in our society. We must not take that for granted. You know, in the past, people thought, teaching is just a simple career. It's actually an important career. And I assured the teachers here that they have the support of our government, and our Minister of Education, Basic Education, will work with them to address those challenges. There are challenges out there. They will be addressed so that we can succeed as a nation.
Any other question?
Mr. Tipping, Kosnatisha from Power FM News. Just on matters of the ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula confirmed that Minister of Justice Uthembi Smelane appeared before the Integrity Commission just over the VBS saga hanging over her. So just your comments on her appearing with Integrity Commission and her being innocent until proven guilty, Babu.
Well, I was not aware that she has already appeared. I know that she did say that she will do so. It's a good thing, and I'm sure it's important that her name gets cleared, and I'm sure that will happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, love. I also took a thing. I'll just also tell Vanna to ingest it as well.
So we are crossing now at half past.